In this video, we're going to talk about how to compare alternatives using Sitewise. Once all of your alternatives have been entered and you're ready to compare them to each other, you're going to use the final summary file. So in this example, we have 5 different alternatives. We're going to start by clicking on the final summary file to pull up the final summary setup. We can select up to 12 alternatives to compare, but we're just going to compare the 5 that we've got, and then we're going to click on Load Selected Alternatives. Sometimes this can take a minute to update, and that's because what's happening behind the scenes is that the file is uploading the summary sheets that are stored within each individual alternative file. So what we've got here is a set of auto-generated tables, and you'll see further down our graphs. And I'm going to walk through what each of these tables and graphs is providing the user. The first 2 tables are showing the footprint quantities for each alternative for our set sustainability metrics. In this example, if you're seeing zeros in any of these tables, that's either because this is a category that doesn't apply to our alternatives, or because we chose not to input that information. The next 2 tables are our relative impact tables. This tool assigns an impact category of either high, medium, or low based on the footprints relative to each other. And it's important to know that the tool always assigns a high value. And it does this because it assigns high to the highest alternative, and then it calculates the ratings for the other. And the tool is based on a 30% difference. So if we've got 2 data points that are within the 30% difference, then both alternatives are assigned the same rating, either high, medium, or low for that particular GSR metrics. There are 2 metrics that are not currently quantified by the tool, and that's community impact and resources loss. And so the user has the opportunity now to select a rating based on your information of the site, your information of the alternatives, and your information on the community. Additionally, to enhance the flexibility of the tool, there's also this relative impact user override copy of the impact table. And here the user can manually select the impact category. And this is important in cases where there's a disagreement between what the user believes is appropriate versus what was assigned by the tool. So for example, I could go in here and change this from low to medium based on my knowledge of the alternative and my knowledge of the site. As we scroll through, we're going to see graphs comparing the 5 alternatives in our set sustainability metrics. Again, as I scroll through, if you see some that don't have bars, that's because either we chose not to enter that information or it was not applicable to our alternatives. And then lastly, we have our normalized impacts chart. This chart graphically compares alternatives by the various metrics, while all metrics are being shown on the same chart for ease of comparison. So here, for each metric, the alternative with the highest impact is assigned a value of 1, and impacts for the other alternatives are presented as ratios to that alternative for that metric. It's important to note that impacts are not normalized between metrics, so the chart is not offering a comparison between metrics. But it's similar to our impact category table. It's just another way to look at it. It's another way to visually see which alternatives have high impacts across all metrics and which alternatives have low impacts across all metrics in a more quantified form. This is the end of what's available in the final summary comparison. Because it's located in Excel, it's really easy to customize any of these auto-generated graphs or tables. Additionally, if we want to compare different alternatives, we just go back to our final summary setup. We select the alternatives we want to compare. Maybe we want to compare just alternative 3A and 3B. Again, we load our selected alternatives. And once again, we've auto-generated the same set of tables and lower down graphs, but now we're comparing just these two alternatives.